IVM.
When we speak to Indian clients, who come in for servicing their existing INR policies or products into our rep office, which we have in Dubai, they keep coming and saying that, hey, you know what, we love the product that we've purchased, back in India. These are all rupee denominated products, and we absolutely love doing this. We are going to go back to India, and we're going to be, taking more of these products. But it would be so nice if you could offer us something in dollars. So, that is the way it works. So there is a natural resonance of the HDFC name. I mean, HDFC Life as a name is trusted, and an NRI would love to. And I think the sheer volume of the remittances that come into India give you an indication that a typical NRI would love to invest back in his or her own country. The idea is to create a product that allows somebody to invest as low as, say, $200 a month. And again, it depends on how quickly you start investing, to actually put in money and create a corpus. And that corpus can be used by, as I said, the parent to fund the liability of fees as and when it comes up in, say, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years hence. So that's the first product that we're coming up with. So what this team has done is they have gone through thousands and thousands of available global funds. We have back tested these funds. And then we have come up with 5 different investment strategies. And these 5 investment strategies actually allow the end customer to select, basis what your risk profile is. You can actually create it basis what the tenor is and basis what your end, output, which you want, the maturity amount in terms of the fees that have to be paid. So, it's a combination of all of these variables, and the best option would be placed in front of the customer. So on the retirement space, in terms of a product that gives you a regular annuity, I think that is a product that we are definitely looking at.
I'm always thrilled. I'm always thrilled to feature an HDFC Group company on our podcast. We don't have too many of them who've come here, and this is, I think, this is the third time we have someone from HDFC Life. Right? We had Vishal Sabharwal from HDFC Life back in August 2019. We had Sriram Iyer from HDFC Pension in June this year, not so long ago. So today I'm really thrilled to welcome HDFC International Life and Re, the first wholly owned international subsidiary of HDFC Life and the first life and health reinsurer to be incorporated in the Dubai International Financial Center, DIFC, and that's regulated by the Dubai Financial Services Authority, DFSA. I know that's a whole lot of stuff to digest, to understand. So I will just hand it over to our guest to explain exactly that. Sameer, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. Thank you so much for doing this for our listeners.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anupam. It's obviously a very proud privilege to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I think you got all of that right. So I know it's a bit of a tongue twister. So it's HDFC International Life and Re. Long name for a small little company. I think the genesis of this company started back in 2016. So we got a license in 2016. We are, as you very correctly summarized, HDFC Life's 100% international subsidiary, which is based out of DIFC, the Dubai International Financial Center. We are regulated by the DFSA, the Dubai Financial Services Authority. Our license allows us to write a life and medical insurance and reinsurance business. So that explains the re at the end of the name. So we are a life and reinsurance company. So from a regulatory standpoint, I think the regulations in the DFSA, or rather the DIFC regulations, allow a license where a company that is incorporated in the DFSA on the insurance side is allowed an insurance and reinsurance license in toto. So I think that's the unique part of our company. We've been around for about 7 years plus. Small little company, growing well, consistent, stable. And if I just extend this to why I'm here, the company HDFC International Life and Re, very recently we have decided to expand our wings, and we have set up our own branch. So we have set up our own branch in GIFT City, again regulated by IFSCA. GIFT City, of course, I don't think needs any introduction. It's been in the news, and it is India's own international financial services center. It is based at Gandhinagar, and we feel very proud and we feel very privileged to be part of that entire story. IFSCA is coming up big time, and we believe we have a small little but a fairly substantial role to play in the development of the center in the years to come. So that's where we are.
Nice. I'm actually very thrilled to have someone. I mean, you are my first guest from Gift, also first from Dubai. A lot of firsts out here, but yeah, I mean, for the listeners out there, I'm hoping to cover more companies that are set up and operate out of Gift so that we can understand. I think this is a pretty big development, and as I get more guests here, I think we can explain that concept better to our listeners. Coming back to this specific product, Samir, I want to understand the audience for and the utility of your product. Like, I have a lot of people listening in right now. In the past, I've had a lot of queries for NRIs, that help us understand products and stuff like that. So can you just take a few steps back and let's first understand the problem that you're addressing and the audience for whom this is, so that we can understand this better.
Sure. So I'll try and throw some light on that, Anupam. So from a product perspective, I mean there are a lot of products out there for NRIs. Now, when I say products, and I'm going to stick to the products that are offered within the confines of the shores of the country. So, as an NRI, I've been an NRI for whatever 7-8 years now. There were multiple products that were available, but all of these products are predominantly, or in fact, completely denominated in ANDA. So today, if I want an insurance product, and if I want to take it from an Indian brand, I want the comfort of an Indian brand behind me. The only product that I can avail of are rupee denominated products, which are of course offered by marquee names in the Indian industry. I don't need to take their names. I think we are one of them, HDFC Life, our parent. So there are these products that are available, but all of these products are rupee denominated. Now, having been an NRI, I do know and understand and appreciate that an NRI, of course, they love taking INR denominated products because there is also this entire thing of having a corpus, creating a cover on both on the life and medical term back in India. But there is also a requirement because a lot of NRIs do want to create a corpus. They have friends, family, relatives who will continue to remain outside the shores of the country. So there has always been a requirement for setting up something in multi-currency. Now, by multi-currency, it could be dollars, it could be GBP, it could be euro, it could be AUD, it could be anything. So what we are trying to do is that the product proposition that we are coming up with is allowing Indians, and when I say Indians, I do mean the NRI diaspora. I do mean the PIO diaspora. And of course, even resident Indians eventually. Give them a great option to avail of a product which is offered by a marquee Indian name, which enjoys the trust, the credibility, of course, which the HDFC Group enjoys. There's no reason why we can't offer it. I mean, why does an NRI or a resident Indian actually have to go to foreign insurance providers? I mean, they have great products. I mean, there are products that meet the requirements of what an NRI may need or what a resident Indian may need in multi-currency. But if it came actually from the stable of the HDFC Group, I think it meets the best of both worlds. So that is really what we are trying to do. So the global Indian who's aspirational, who wants to do something, who wants to build something outside the shores of the country, we want to be the one-stop shop in terms of insurance solutions, both on the life and the medical side, across the spectrum of products that can be offered. And I think that's what we are aiming to be.
It's a very large diaspora, right? All across the world. I mean, obviously, where you're sitting right now in Dubai or even in the US, there's a very large population of Indians. Do you have any numbers out here? Just for I know that, for example, we are what I think number one in remittances across the world, right?
We are,
Anything
yes.
just for our listeners to
So
understand the size of this.
sure. So I'll quote two numbers here, Anupam. So from you mentioned the remittances. The remittances are in three figures now in terms of billion dollars. So you have almost about $100 billion of remittances coming into the country. So NRIs are actually they're the largest source of remittance into the country. In terms of absolute numbers, there are almost 32 million Indians outside the
Wow.
shores of the country and growing fast. So just to give you a sense, that's the population of Malaysia. So it's almost like one entire country, 32 million and growing fast. And these are white collar. They're of course blue collar Indians as well, but very well respected. They've assimilated very well into the society. And I think that the scale of the remittance actually gives you a sense of and I don't want to go back to the cliches of how well the Indians, I mean, how well we Indians do when we actually go and assimilate in foreign cultures. But yeah, I think we occupy
Yeah.
pride of place in most organizations. So it's a very large and a very massive cohort that we're actually going after. and it's something that we are very sensitive and we're very, we're very emotionally attached to. I
Yeah,
mean, if you look at what's behind me, so because some colors continue to define who we are, and by
yeah.
that we mean tricolor, and that's
Yeah.
really going to be the focus of what we are trying to do.
Yeah. So, okay, I want to understand this. Let's say that I'm an NRI in Dubai, okay, and everybody has friends out there, I guess, and I have a few. What are their existing options, and how do yours compare with that? How are you better, or how are you offering them something new that didn't exist before? Let's try and understand that. What if there is someone from Dubai listening into this episode right now? What would you tell them that this is what you have and this is what we offer? Just let's get into specifics right now.
So specifics, Anupam, if there is an NRI who's based in say Dubai, and again I'll just use Dubai interchangeably for any other country that the person may be. The option is, of course, buy. And if you're looking for a great insurance product, the option is that you could buy that product, but then for that you would probably have to come back to India, or whenever you're on vacation, you'd go to India. You would actually go and meet your say your bank RM or whoever your agent is, and whoever is the person who takes care of your financial planning, and actually purchase a product which is denominated in rupees. I say this very responsibly because you would have to be back in India, because a lot of countries outside would not permit you to actually purchase a product. So there are some regulatory constraints,
Sure.
and of course the product proposition that we have will obviously take care of all of these regulatory constraints. We will not be around selling in geographies where we are not authorized to sell. But anyway, that's more a technicality. I'll get into that a little later. So somebody who's looking for a good dollar denominated plan, or let's say a good, as I said, I'll use dollar denominated because that's the most common currency, and people would want to create a corpus in dollars, wherever they are. You could now, you don't need to look beyond, let's say, the HDFC group. So if you need, and there are different types of products that we'll come up with. So one of the products that we are going to launch, we are actually looking at something on the education side. So
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
education side, if we are actually looking at somebody who wants to create a corpus to take care of education of the children, there are providers out there. There are providers that would offer education products. But then, what if HDFC and HDFC Life was able to actually create a product which would take care of this requirement? You could actually put in X amount of money every month, every quarter, biannually, or annually, whichever way you want to do it, depending
Sure.
on how your wallet works. And what if you could create this corpus? It has the trust, the credibility of HDFC Life behind it. So it's an HDFC Life International product.
Yeah.
It invests in global funds that have been very carefully, we've sifted through. And I'm sorry, I'm getting into a little bit of the product details now, but we've actually sifted through thousands of funds that are available, global funds. We've back tested the kind of returns over the last 10 years or so, and we've given various investment strategies that you can actually go ahead and invest in these different funds. And once you invest in these funds, you can actually start creating a corpus, so that by the time your child is ready to go to college, you have a very nice corpus of which is in some sense, it's already hedged against rupee depreciation, and you can use that for education of your children. So products like that, I think. So we're
Yeah.
looking at that. We're looking at the medical space on the health side. Again, we have some great products available in India, denominated in rupees, which have
Mm.
global cover, but again, not completely, hedged against depreciation of the rupee against other currencies. So if we could, and we are going to, I mean, I keep saying if, but then we are actually going to make that a reality very soon. Come up with products that are denominated in say dollar, which offer you global cover. I think it's a great proposition for the end
Yeah,
client.
I'm sitting out here in India, so I'm just trying to imagine this, right? If I'm just trying to think that if doesn't it work better for the NRI to choose a solution specific to his country? For example, let me just give you an example out here, and which is becoming very popular these days in the last at least 4 5 years, is that I'm a parent who's sending his kid for undergraduate studies, say to New York, okay, to study out there. Wouldn't it make better sense for me to have a New York-based insurer, or a New York based life insurance company to kind of look at that? Or what are my options there?
So, you know, of course, there are, and I would never want to run down the products offered by any insurance company, because I think there are some exceptional products out there offered by very, very marquee international names. But if I could come up with a product proposition, and I will come up with a product proposition that has equivalence in all the benefits that it offers, in terms of the pricing, in terms of the charges, in terms of what it gives, in terms of coverage, and the benefits overall. And it is backed by the name of a very, very strong and credible Indian brand. I mean, I, for one, as an Indian, so I'll give you some examples, Anupam.
Sure.
We we have a representative office, and we liaise a lot with Indian clients. And when we speak to Indian clients, who come in for servicing their existing INR policies or products into our rep office, which we have in Dubai, they keep coming and saying that, hey, you know what, we love the product that we've purchased, back in India. These are all rupee denominated products, and we absolutely love doing this. We are going to go back to India, and we're going to be, taking more of these products. But it would be so nice if you could offer us something in dollars. So
Ah,
that is the way it works. So there is a natural resonance of the HDFC name. I mean, HDFC Life as a name is trusted, and an NRI would love to. And I think the sheer volume of the remittances that come into India give you an indication that a typical NRI would love to invest back, in his or her own country. So if you give an option of a good insurance product which is offered by a great Indian brand, I think it ticks all the boxes, and that's the way we look at it. So we want to come up with a proposition, and we will come up with a proposition that is uh, brilliant in terms of the benefits that it offers, and it will carry the brand name of HDFC Life, which we believe it's a winning combination.
So, I mean, let's now that we've done with understanding the use case and the utility and the entire thing that we discussed in the first half about the size of the diaspora, stuff like that. Now let's get into the products. What all do you offer? I know that in sitting here in India, the two broad heads are life and medical. Okay, and then of course you've got stuff like savings plan, pension plan. So can you just walk us through your product portfolio and what does that look like right now? And maybe at some point of time during this we can also go into what you plan to offer going forward.
Sure. So, Anupam, to begin with, and I had touched on this a little earlier, the first product which we are extremely excited about launching is the education product. And as I had indicated, it's a it's a product that actually allows an NRI or the person who's purchasing this product to create a corpus which is specifically going to be used to fund the education needs of their children. Now, again, most NRIs, and for that matter, even resident Indians, at some point, we will offer this even to resident Indians, of course, keeping in view the entire regulatory landscape and framework. We're working on all of that. I think
Yep, yep,
it's a
yep.
little process intensive, and it's the HDFC group, so we don't want to do anything unless we get it right completely. So we are working on that. But eventually, when you create a product, so the idea is to create a product that allows somebody to invest as low as, say, $200 a month. And again, it depends on how quickly you start investing, to actually put in money and create a corpus. And that corpus can be used by, as I said, the parent to fund the liability of fees as and when it comes up in, say, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years hence. So that's the first product that we're coming up with. Again, from an investment standpoint, Anupam, what we've done is, we have an investments team, and having been in this market for about 7 or 8 years, we understand how international investments and structures work. So what this team has done is they have gone through thousands and thousands of available global funds. We have back tested these funds, and then we have come up with 5 different investment strategies. And these 5 investment strategies actually allow the end customer to select, basis what your risk profile is. You can actually create it basis what the tenor is, and basis what your end output which you want, the maturity amount in terms of the fees that have to be paid. So it's a combination of all of these variables, and the best option would be placed in front of the customer. And this effectively ensures that, so today what happens is, when you're actually trying to send your child to school, you have a situation where you end up taking a lot of debt. So we want to avoid that in case there is a way that you can actually create a small, you can put in small slivers of funds, create a nice corpus, and that funds your child's education. So I think that is something that we're extremely excited about, and that's the first product that we'll be launching very, very soon. And of course, I think so that's the education segment that we're going after. It's a savings segment, but yeah, sorry, Anupam.
Yeah. So I want to just hold you there for just 1 second and let's make this into a specific case study. Okay.
Sure.
Again, let's say there's someone in Dubai. He has, let's say, 5 years to go. His kid
Mhm.
is, let's say, 10 years old or 12 years old, and he knows at the age of 18, this child will be traveling to the US, and let's say that the fees are, let's say, 50,000 USD. So you're saying that 5 years or 10 years, whatever the number is, okay, you can actually, sitting in Dubai, plan for this using your
Yes,
product. Have I understood you right out there?
absolutely,
Okay,
Anupam. And
so that is a go on. Sorry,
so
go on.
sorry. I'm just going to point a little behind. So there's hdfclifeinternational.com. So
Yeah,
that's the website. If you actually go onto the website, you'll find that, again, we've put in a lot of effort and thought behind this. So if there is somebody, and, I'll come back to your example of there's somebody who has a child who wants to go to college in 5 years. Um, we have actually created calculators on our website.
oh,
You can
okay,
go there, you can select how old your child is, so which, and again, there's a back calculation that the child wants to study. And what we've done, it's really interesting. What we've done is we've listed down the top 10 destinations where children from India usually tend to study. We have
right,
listed down by streams. So you want to study arts, you want to study business, you want to study commerce,
correct,
medicine, or average. So you select how old your child is, you select, and that, as I said, back calculates when the child would go to college. You select what stream, and then it calculates as to what is the, and it then finally calculates what is the corpus that is required to take care of the entire education. Now,
sure,
it of course is, there's a lot of there's an algorithm which is working at the back end, which calculates the rate of inflation in the particular country that you've chosen, the particular stream that you've chosen, and so on and so forth, and gives you a final figure, and then tells you that if you want to reach this figure and you want to pay for 5 years, this is the quantum of money in dollar that you need to invest, and invest in what risk profile of the fund. Of course, post that you can edit your plan, you can decide what you want to do. You may not want to fund the entire 100%. You may say, okay, hang on, I may want to fund slightly lesser, I may want to change the stream, or whatever, I
right,
may want to change the location. So it gives that opportunity and that option to change it, but it's all very in some sense predictive. You can just put in
yeah.
what you want, and it will just throw up a nice little illustration instantly. And I would ask you to probably go and actually look at the
Yeah,
website. We are very
listeners are
proud of
free to
what
do
we've
that. Yeah,
created. Yeah,
yeah.
we're very, very
And
proud of what we've created.
sure, where does this get invested? You spoke about having an investment team. Where does this corpus or this investments that I'm doing every month or every year, where does this get invested?
So what we've done, Anupam, is, as I said, we've sifted through multiple global funds that are available. We've back tested. We've looked at least 10 years of returns, and we've created five different investment strategies. So the money that comes in, actually, so we take care of it. The premium comes in, and through existing custody arrangements and platforms that we are using, we invest the money back into those funds. So what happens is, the moment you pay the premium, the money gets invested. Like any other good insurance company, like any other transparent insurance company, and we're very cognizant of the name that we carry. The first name of HDFC is obviously a very credible name. We will be completely transparent. The client would know where exactly the money has been invested in terms of the name of the strategy, and how the funds are performing almost on a daily basis. So you would know, and it would work like a typical SIP, if I may, as the closest example. The
Yeah,
money gets
yeah,
invested, and depending on how the fund does, the corpus and keeps moving. We are very confident about our selection. As I said, these are all back tested strategies which have we've looked at least 10 years of consistent and stable decent returns. And we are also very cognizant that this is money that we are in some sense holding as in terms of almost like custody for something as
yep,
sacred
yep,
as a
yep,
child's
yeah,
education. So we
yep.
don't want to come up with any cowboy kind of funds or strategies. So very carefully worked out strategies on this.
Okay, let's go back, right? I mean, I kind of stopped you there because I wanted to understand the child education product. Let's go back to the other products that you have or will have to offer.
Sure. So the other product, which, and again, I'm going in a specific order because we've been working on this, but eventually, I think the final way we look at it is that on the canvas we will have all the types of products that you know a blue-blooded insurance company like ours should be offering. So that will eventually happen. But I think the second product proposition that we are going to come up with, Anupam, is on the medical side. So we are
Okay,
looking at an international medical product. So we work very closely with international medical providers. So we will come up with an international medical product which offers cover, health cover, medical cover across the globe. Again, it will be denominated in different currencies. We'll probably start off with a straightforward the US dollar denominated product, and again, it's very interesting because aspirational global Indians would a lot of aspirational global Indians, apart from whatever health cover they have back in India, they would want to have a very strong health insurance or medical cover across the globe because they
Correct.
travel a lot. Some Indians obviously tend to settle abroad. Interestingly, if I synergize this with the first product that I spoke about, I mean, as a parent, if I'm sending my child abroad to study, I would love for my child to also have an international medical insurance. And what's better than having an HDFC Life International education plan which marries the international medical product, and it's a great composition and a great combination which can actually be given to the child. So I think on the travel side, on the education side, on an overall medical cover side, I think that's the second product that we are looking at. Post which, Anupam, we will work. I mean, we are working on it. The team is already working on it. We are looking at getting into the retirement space. So on the retirement space, in terms of a product that gives you a regular annuity, I think that is a product that we are definitely looking at. It's something on the anvil. I think it is again something that we believe. If you create a dollar pension, and pardon me, I keep saying dollar, but we are a multi-currency company. But dollar is a product. I mean, it's a currency that in some sense is most widely understood. So I'm probably taking the liberty of saying dollar, dollar, dollar all the time. So a nice dollar pension, which in some sense again becomes that is made available to NRIs. I think that'd be a great product proposition. Eventually we will look at savings products, pure vanilla savings products. Again, the education product is arguably a savings product, but we could look at savings products for other needs. We are definitely going to look at a term product which offers global coverage, lightly priced, thinly priced, but offers global coverage across wherever you live. So I think the entire spectrum of insurance products that are available, and I think there's no better company than HDFC Life. So we are going to be pretty shameless about it. HDFC Life has this pedigree of coming up with spectacular products over the years. They've been industry leading products. So we are going to actually piggyback on their expertise. The only difference is we'll do it in different currencies. But I have no doubt that the products will be equally good, in terms of the final offering that comes onto the table.
Where's your timeline in all this? What are the products that you currently offer, and what's your rollout going forward?
So we're going to launch very soon. And when I say very soon, it's a matter of maybe a couple of days. We will be launching the education product very soon. Everything is up and running. So I think education product is first. Within a month of that, we should launch the medical product. And the third product, which could either be on the annuity or the retirement side, or it could be on the term side, I think should take about another month. So let's say in about a quarter, the quarter that's coming up, July, August, September, August, September, and October, I think in these 3 months, we should have at least three products in the HDFC Life International stable.
And is this going to be like only in Dubai, or are you going to launch it globally? For anyone, anywhere in the
Globally.
for any Indian? Sorry, for any Indian NRI.
any
Sorry.
any NRI in the world, based anywhere. I think what we've tried to do is we've tried to make the process simple. We've tried to make the process digital. Anybody can log in. So when I talk of the website, I think you can just log on to the website, and the entire life cycle of the policy in terms of the pre-sale, sales, servicing, etc. Everything will get taken care digitally. I think that's the idea. We want to keep it as paperless as possible. Um, because again, it's at the end of the day, we are actually, as I said, reaching out to 32 million Indians across the globe. So we want to make it as less onerous as possible. Great service experience. Everything will be available on call, or online through WhatsApp. So we're taking care of all of these, Anupam.
Sure. Just to understand the nitty-gritty out here, because insurance, as you know, is also a very customer-facing product. And sitting out here in India, the kind of complaints that people have, whether it is in terms of claim processing, refunds, reimbursements, cashless, etc. Can you just help me understand this? So, A, where will you be based out of? And B, how will the products work from the customer side? Like, how will the process work for filing claims, follow ups? Do you have someone out there in Dubai sitting who I can go to, or who will work with me towards a specific claim or a specific issue?
Yeah. Okay. So Anupam, the parent company, which is HDFC International Life and Re, is based in Dubai. So of course, we have a full complement of staff and team which is there in Dubai. But the way we are structuring this is that in the Gift City, so we are setting up a full-fledged office in Gift City. So when I say full-fledged office, there are people on the marketing and the distribution side. There are also people on the technical sides of business. So whether it's underwriting, it's claims, we are setting up a full-fledged team there. Now the Gift City, the regulator there, the IFSCA, they have a very specific, and I must compliment them that they have set up an international financial services center with the entire complement of whatever regulations, etc., need to be in place for a good international financial services regulator. So when I say the product will be offered out of Gift City. The entire underwriting, claims, etc., everything will be managed and taken care of from Gift City. The entire customer experience is going to be an online experience. It is hosted at Gift City. It follows all the cybersecurity and data protection laws, etc., everything that are promulgated by and gazetted by the Gift City authorities. And as I said, it's going to be completely paperless. It's going to be digital. The entire management of a typical insurance life cycle, which could involve grievances, it could involve complaints, it could involve servicing issues, or it could involve just general servicing points that somebody wants to change an address, somebody wants to change the premium payment terms, or so on and so forth. All of that will be managed from Gift City. So it's a full-fledged entity. As I said, we set up a branch, and all of it will be done in Gift City. The laws and the jurisdiction also will be the Gift City jurisdiction.
Very interesting, yeah. And I hope that our NRI friends who are listening out there to this episode can actually reach out to them, because this is pretty much the first Indian financial brand that's offering this product, right? Or are there any?
Yes.
Is there anybody else who's also doing this? Because since we are doing the whole connect with the Indian brand, that's what gives a level of comfort. Is there anybody else doing this right now, or you are going to be the first
No,
one?
we are going to be. So it's the many of firsts that we are known for. So as I said, the seed of this idea was planted many years ago. And the HDFC Life Management decided to set up, and I was privileged to be part of it, to set it up back in 2016 in Dubai. And I think we are the only insurance company right now that has the necessary wherewithal, and I'm saying this very responsibly, and the experience internationally to offer a product like this, which is based on what our license allows us to do. Okay, it's absolutely clear. And again, I'm again going to say this because it's very important for people who are listening in to understand that they're dealing with a very, very credible brand, a regulated brand. And when I say regulated, not only are we regulated by the Gift City authorities, we continue to be regulated by the Dubai Financial Services Authority. So there are two regulators. We have to, ensure that the regulations in both the geographies are taken care of. The final product proposition that we come up with is going to be, apart from being a great product proposition, it's going to be completely regulatorily compliant. And we've spent a lot of time, effort, energy in engaging with both sets of regulators, and finally coming up with something that is, kosher in all regulatory forms. And it's just a great proposition which we are very proud to present.
Yeah, and listeners, if you're wondering why Sameer is emphasizing on regulated over and over again, please understand that insurance is a product where you want the person giving you insurance, the provider, to be really regulated, because this is a sensitive product. Okay, so this is not like anything else. So please understand that. And if you're someone who's been dealing with insurance in India itself, that regulation really matters. And at the end of the day, when it comes to claims, when it comes to a lot of things, there is a certain regulation in place, and you cannot mess around with those rules. Okay, Sameer, so building on to the whole regulated part that you've been correctly emphasizing on, I also want to understand, I believe that you've been rated also, which is something that I don't hear very often with financial companies. The only rating I know is a credit rating, which is fine if you want to raise money, but you're an insurance company. So you've been rated. Let's talk about that. What is that exactly?
Yeah, so Anu, we we've been operating as an insurer in the Dubai market, in the UAE market for a while now, and there is obviously a counterparty risk attached to any kind of reinsurance arrangement. So if there's an insurance company that is actually ceding some part of the risk to me, they would want that they're ceding the risk to a company that is rated, or that enjoys some standing in terms of pedigree at a certain baseline level. So what we did is, very early in our progression, we realized that okay, we are HDFC Life, and we were very proud of our name. But in this market, apart from that, it has to translate into a proper credit rating. So you got it absolutely correct. So what we did is, again, 5 years ago, we went and we decided that we'll go right, to the gold standard as far as rating is concerned. So we went to S&P. We went to S&P Global, and we went to S&P Global and said, okay, here are our books. This is what we are out to do. This is what we've done over the last 3 years. We had a 3-year track record. And we asked S&P to accord a rating to us, look at our books, look at what we are doing. And it's a standalone rating. I mean, it's not linked to the parent. So we are a subsidiary of HDFC Life, but we enjoy a sovereign, okay, sorry, not a sovereign, but we enjoy a global rating, which is issued by a global rating company, which is S&P. So we have an S&P global rating, and it's a rating of triple B. Now, just to give you a sense of what triple B entails, the sovereign rating of India is triple B minus. So we are actually a notch above the India sovereign rating, despite being the 100% subsidiary of an India-based company. So I think that also helps a lot, because so investment grade starts at triple B minus, so we are above investment grade, and that has actually helped us in tying up with multiple partners across the globe. I mean, on the reinsurance side, we work with more than 70 partners, and that helps us, because this triple B rating that we have got for the company, for HDFC International Life and Re, by sheer association, the branch which is based in Gift City can also draw on this rating. So it's a very it's a very interesting combination of an Indian company, an Indian pedigreed company that enjoys a rating that is a notch above the India sovereign rating. It has a 5-year track record of maintaining that rating. So, getting a rating is, I don't say it's easy, it's a tough job, but maintaining it is, it's really tough, because, S&P being S&P, they're extremely, clear and focused in terms of what they assess. There are very clear boundaries, there are very clear boundary conditions, and you have to remain within them. And I think that's something that we're very proud of, gives a lot of confidence to anybody. So when we today, as an insurance company, when we start writing direct contracts, we will be writing direct contracts, and as a triple B rated, investment grade rated insurance company. And of course, as the book keeps growing, and as our as our profitability, etc., other metrics keep growing, we will keep trying to better that rating.
Okay, lovely. Okay, Sameer, I'm really excited to have you tell us who this product is for, and what exactly are the products that you offer.
Okay, Anupam, thanks. So this product is for, to put it simply, the global Indian. And the global Indian, as per our definition, is an NRI or a PIO, or even a resident Indian who's aspirational in terms of looking beyond the shores, looking beyond the confines of India. So I think that's who the product is for. Interestingly, there are 32 million Indians, people of Indian origin, and NRIs who are out there. And 32 million, just by way of comparison, is really it's really the population of Malaysia. So I mean, that's how big it is. So these products, or the product propositions, are for 32 million, which is of course an ever expanding race, and an ever expanding cohort.
Sure. And what exactly are the products that you offer, or will offer rather?
So products that we offer, to begin with, are 3 different types of products. There's of course an education product. An education product is for anybody and everybody who wants to create a corpus to fund the education of their children, because the cost of education obviously has been increasing. There is some inflation there. So we're trying to come up with a great product proposition which will take care of that. The other thing which is completely synergistic with it is the medical product. So we will offer medical products, again, for people who travel a lot, people who want to look for treatment options globally in the best hospitals across the world. So we are going to be coming up with products. We have tied up with exceptionally good international medical providers. So I think we'll offer that. And the third product that we will look at, which is on the annual, is something on the pension side. We are trying to create, an accumulation kind of a product that eventually ends up giving dollar pensions to people who want a steady stream of pensions, which are coming in dollar terms, when they retire. So I think that's what we're really looking at.
Okay, Sameer, our final standard question to all our guests on Paisa Vaisa: what book are you reading, and do you have any recommendation for our listeners?
So, okay, I can recommend the book that I'm reading right now, Anupam. So, I'm reading a book called Two Birds in a Tree.
Hmm.
It's written by a gentleman called Ram Nidumolu. It's a very interesting book. So, what it talks about is it actually, and again, it's coincidental. Okay. I'm not saying this because, I'm talking Indian and global Indian, but I think this book, Two Birds in a Tree, is a book about knowledge which are there in our ancient texts, which can
Wow.
actually be used to come up, which can actually be implemented in terms of of today's businesses. So whether you're a startup entrepreneur who needs to draw upon the knowledge that are there in your ancient texts, the Upanishads, etc., you can actually use that and create a great entity in some sense. Whether it is for a manager who wants to look at the learnings again from the ages down the ages, you could arguably pick up that and actually become a better manager. And even for running businesses, if there is a running business, if there is something that you want to do which ensures that simple things like the environment are taken care of, how to be more inclusive, what do our texts say about building a great culture in an organization, great performing teams, and an entity and an enterprise, which actually is in some sense in sync with the entire environment and ecosystem around you. So there is a little bit of spirituality also within this book, but I think it's an exceptional read.
Where did you get this recommendation? Because I don't hear this very often. Because whenever I have guests, I kind of know what book that they're talking about. I just looked this up on Amazon. Two Birds in a Tree: Timeless Indian Wisdom for Business Leaders by Ram Nidumolu. It's
Nilumolu. Yeah,
not even available very widely.
it's not
Because
available.
it's pretty. Yeah, where did you get this recommendation from? Where do you have a hard copy? Do you have a Kindle? Do you what? Where did you get this recommendation from? Very
No,
interesting.
I have a hard copy. I had managed to. I
Huh.
had actually spotted it. The Freights. I think it is published sometime in 2012 or 2013, and I had
2013.
actually
That's what
spotted.
it says. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, there you go. So I had actually spotted it, with one of my friends, and I found the
Ah.
entire concept, very. So I actually, I actually stole it from him for a couple of days, read it, and then I
Huh.
ordered my own. So yeah, I actually managed to get it. I was lucky enough to get it. But yeah, it's a fascinating read. It's a fascinating
Yeah.
read if you want to, in some sense, remain in conjunction with the entire environment and ecosystem around yourself. So it's a lovely, highly recommended book.
I hope that you return the book, okay? Because I'm a bit of a purist. Also, you take books, you got to return
No,
them
no,
also. Because
I'm very, very clear about returning books. I actually returned it with another book which I gave to him, which is
uh,
another recommendation. Actually,
please,
if I
yeah,
can.
no, go, 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 go.
There's
What's
a
it?
there's a book called The Culture Code. It's written by a
Uh,
gentleman called Daniel Coyle. So it's again a very fascinating book. It's more Western because it actually draws on the work done by OB practitioners and psychologists. It's again it's a fascinating book, but that is more to do with how you can create great teams. So what makes a team or what makes a group tick? What
yeah.
so how do some teams and groups tend to outperform other teams? So I think that's again a very, very interesting book. It's again more, as I said, on the OB side, organizational behavior side, but again a fascinating read. So that's more on a group basis. But yeah, if you're looking from an enterprise standpoint, Two Birds in a Tree is a strong recommendation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole culture thing is something that's not. I think it is just explored in because in the in the Western market, it's pretty well known that work culture within an organization can actually be an asset, and there is
Yes,
enough material out there and research out there to link financial performance with work culture. Of course, it's again an evolving field, and the book that we just mentioned is called "The Culture Code: The Secrets of Highly Successful Groups" by Daniel
yes,
Coyle. Again,
Daniel
this is a
Coyle.
pretty sounds also like a pretty interesting book, which is something very different from what we focus on. Boy, don't talk about work culture, please. That gets me into a totally different direction. Because and the previous book that you mentioned, the Two Birds on a Tree, it reminds me
But
a lot about Gurcharan Das's books, because he's done this book called the Difficulty of Being Good,
difficulty of
which
being good.
takes learnings on the Mahabharata and on how it's
Absolutely, yes.
relevant in today's day. And of course, I've had the very rare honor of meeting Mr. Das also, and he's just totally awesome. So I get what you're saying. When you talk about stuff like Two Birds on a Tree or even the Culture Code, it's just it's great because at a corporate level to explore these topics is something that's going beyond your usual P&Ls and your balance sheets and your efficiencies and your ROEs and all that. So I think those are great recommendations. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, Sameer, that's very nice of you.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you so much.
So, folks, with that very different recommendation, that is a wrap on this episode of Paisa Vaisa. My guest, Sameer Yogishwar, non-executive director, HDFC International Life, and any of our NRI and PIO friends out there, check out their products. You can just Google it. The company name, I shall repeat, HDFC International Life. And Sameer, thank you so much for doing this for our listeners.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Fantastic.
IVM